Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode on Stockertim Special. Welcome to Stockertim, the investors channel. This episode is proudly brought to you and presented by Stockertim.com, the one-stop website for retail investors to get coaching, guidance, and how to pick winning stocks on building a strong and reliable, sustainable portfolio. Before we get into this episode, every information shared on this channel is for information and education purpose only. As a disclaimer, do your due diligence or speak to your financial advisor before making any decision. On that note, today we want to welcome everyone on this special topic. We will be discussing the Beta IPO. Have you read this news on Stockertim.com? Have you seen it on social media? Have you seen it in financial media? We will be bringing you the details about Beta Technologies, a company that is looking to actually list on the New York Stock Exchange. So what exactly is Beta Technologies? Is this an IPO you should be looking at buying into? What exactly makes Beta stands out in the CTO and EVTOL industry? And what exactly is the difference between these two types of technology in modern aviation? We'll be talking about that and also discussing perhaps if there is an investment case for anyone looking to invest in Beta as a shareholder or as an investor. We will be going on to actually start. Before I do that, give this video a like, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any further episode. Like I said, this episode is brought to you and presented by Stockertim.com. So let's get into it. So the news that Beta Technologies will be going on an IPO, initial public offering, was broken into the financial media 2 days ago on the 5th of October 2025. The company that is actually backed by Amazon and even GE Aerospace is actually looking to list on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol Beta, BETA, and this company has actually tapped the likes of Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs to actually be the underwriter for the IPO. However, the size of this IPO, the valuation for this company has not been disclosed, and a lot of questions are still unanswered. But what exactly is Beta Technologies and why are they coming into the market to become a public company? So, but let's just look at a primer, a very, very short introduction to Beta Technologies. The company, Beta actually designs and manufacture and they sell high performance electric aircraft. They also produced advanced propulsion, charging infrastructure, and related components. The flagship brand for Beta is actually their earlier CTO, which is conventional takeoff and landing. I will be talking about that just in a while. They have actually logged several thousands of flights covering about 83,000 nautical miles across North America and Europe. Their aircraft has actually been utilized by the US military for training missions and it's been flown, by pilots from the Federal Aviation Administration, which perhaps is demonstrating that Beta has that reliability and versatility. This IPO is actually coming at a time when there are several IPOs coming into the market. But if you look at the crypto space, if you look at the AI space, if you look at the even the nuclear energy space, so Beta Technologies will be listing at a time when the appetite for new companies, the appetite for IPO is now a bit more positive, and you see several IPOs have actually done record numbers. Even Klarna, which didn't do well after the IPO, actually went as far as more than 20%. But Beta is coming into this market. This company, like I said, they are backed by Amazon, GE Aerospace, and they've committed about 300 million in equity for them to actually develop hybrid electric turbo generator for civil and defense applications. Beta's major unique selling proposition is that they are actually able to provide cost efficiency They said their aircraft actually has about 42% reduction in operating cost compared to conventional airplanes, which actually allows them to really, really position themselves in a market that is very, very overcrowded by two major giants, which is the Boeing and Airbus. But Beta Technologies is not necessarily competing with the likes of Airbus or Boeing. Beta Technologies is competing with the likes of Joby, the likes of Archer Aviation, which I'll also be talking about after we've spoken about the product of Beta Technologies. But if you look at what Beta is actually bringing on board in terms of their numbers, in terms of the bottom line, they've not actually been profitable. I will be talking about the numbers. Just let's actually look at the product Beta Technologies is bringing into the market, and we can actually more or less have a better picture of where they actually fit in the value chain, in the eVTOL and perhaps the CTOL business. So if you look at the two aircraft in front of you, the two major premier product that they are bringing to the market is the Alia VTOL, which actually perhaps directly competes with the Joby aircraft. They have the Alia CTOL, which is a conventional takeoff and landing aircraft, which is still all electric. But the actual thing that we need to focus on really is what exactly as Beta has actually achieved in terms of revenue. Are they pre-revenue or have they started making some revenue? Because as an investor, you don't necessarily want to invest just because the website looks very good, the product looks very, very appealing. Is this actually a product or even a company that will survive a very, very cutthroat, a very, very high level and advanced industry like the aviation industry and also the eVTOL, the likes of Joby? They've been in the game for almost several years now, more than almost a decade, and they are still trying to actually start full commercial operation. But Beta actually has been providing its services to authorities in the US, especially the military application of its product. As you can see, they had over of several thousands of flight that has been done. Even FAA pilots have actually flown in them. So there's a bit of credibility. But let's look under the hood and actually look at what exactly has Beta done in terms of revenue. So if you have watched this video to this point, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any episode we bring to you. Because at the end of the day, as more people like this video, this will actually help them to bring into perspective what their due diligence, the thoroughness of actually looking beyond the surface before you actually invest either in a company coming into the market for the first time or in a company that is actually very established. So, and that's what Stockertim.com is all about. Like I said, this episode is presented and brought to you by Stockertim.com, the website for retail investors, where you get all the due diligence, the coaching and guidance for you to actually become a rounded investor that is backed by research. So if you look at the revenue that this company has disclosed in 2023, Beta actually recorded about $15.4 million. And in 2024, there was actually a slight decline, but almost no difference or growth in the revenue, about $15.1 million. For the first half of this year, 2025, Beta recorded about $15.6 million in revenue, which is not necessarily growing. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily want to conclude that this company is not doing well, because a whole lot of their product, a whole lot of these aircraft actually has to be ordered, planned, built, and we don't even have full details of production, manufacturing facility that Beta already has to meet the demands when they start taking in contract for actual deals. The likes of Joby already has a partnership with Toyota for Toyota to actually be the production partner. Toyota actually bought a stake in Joby. So we'll be talking about that as well, but we don't have all of those details for Beta. Even Archer Aviation hasn't necessarily fleshed out, their production and manufacturing program, because in aircraft manufacturing, the production and manufacturing at scale is more or less the most difficult part. Perhaps it could be very, very easy to actually make a prototype. Perhaps it could be very, very easy to even make the prototype work, but to actually produce an advanced machinery like this kind of aircraft, VTOL and CTOL, electric aircraft at scale with the same level of quality and precision, that takes much more level of work, much more level of rigor. A lot of mistakes will be made in the process, and many of these mistakes have to be corrected, have to be preempted, and so this is not necessarily an all-commerce affair, and that's why many companies who have actually tried to go into the business of aircraft manufacturing, either CTO or VTO, or even non-renewable energy powered aircraft, many of them have actually failed. The likes of Boeing and Airbus actually have the backing of major government, major state actors that actually keep them afloat to make sure they are able to maintain the quality of what they are doing. So those are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself as an investor. Do you have access to some of these detailed plan, detailed manufacturing program that has been laid out? What institutions, or in terms of manufacturing, in terms of track record, are backing Beta? Toyota is already backing Joby. Toyota has several decades of experience in high scale, manufacturing at scale globally. Experience when it comes to logistics, when it comes to supply chain, when it comes to quality, when it comes to reliability. So we need to actually see this, but we haven't actually seen this for Beta Technologies. So let's go to the charts now, because why Beta might actually be very, very promising, we also need to see what exactly as the peers or competitors to Beta Technologies have been doing, especially the ones that I've actually listed. I've mentioned Archer and I've mentioned Joby, and I'll also look at Whisk Aero as well. So let's go to the charts. So here is the all-time chart for two key competitors to Beta Technologies, to Beta, and you can see Joby Aviation clearly leads in terms of return to investors, about 81% all time. Archer Aviation actually has been struggling very, very seriously, because Archer Aviation has not necessarily gotten to the milestones that Joby Aviation has achieved. As a matter of fact, Joby Aviation already has aircraft that are already in use privately. Joby Aviation has started actually using actual pilots to actually fly in some very, very controlled environment, very, very controlled route. Joby Aviation also already has deals with the likes of Dubai to actually be the official eVTOL for Dubai, the tour of the city of Dubai and the UAE. So if you see what Archer has done, they have their Midnight, which is more or less still in design and not yet in production. Joby has gone into production, and so if you see what the market has done, the market really has more or less favored the front runner. If you look at the year-to-date performance, Joby seems to have performed even far better, about 138%, and Archer Aviation seems almost flat year to date when you compare them to their all-time high. So it seems Archer Aviation has actually even struggled more than Joby. However, these two companies haven't actually started making any serious revenue. Acha Aviation, Joby Aviation pre-revenue, Joby actually even lost more money last quarter than they did the previous quarter. So if you actually see what disclosure Beta has actually released to the market, you can actually see why they've done that, because the numbers don't necessarily look good. Yes, the technology might be promising. The company might actually be coming at a time when a whole lot of sustainability, a whole lot of flexibility is needed in aviation. A lot of people actually want to move around, not using lousy energy consuming machine called helicopters. They want to move in a far more efficient way, in a far more sustainable way, in a far more, perhaps maybe it's even safer and less risky way. And eVTOL, and perhaps some of this CTOL that Beta is bringing into the market might actually be a solution. And perhaps eVTOL, even for Joby, might be the answer to so many questions of very, very short distance travel that people actually move between city hubs and airports to city hubs, key part of the cities in between, that the traffic, especially places like New York City, City of London, Tokyo, many of these cities are very notorious for traffic. And at the end of the day, eVTOL might actually move, into that market. The likes of Uber are actually also tagging along. So I believe the technology for many of these eVTOL companies are revolutionary. They are sought after. They are actually going to actually solve problems, but investors actually need to still weigh your options. You still also need to do your due diligence. You still also have to temper your expectations so that you don't necessarily get disappointed, because many of these companies will have a very, very tough journey towards profitability, towards actually even remaining as a going concern without going bankrupt. A lot of eVTOL companies have actually gone bankrupt. Many of them, they used to exist 3 years ago, but they are no more. And that's why we are inviting everyone to join Stockertim Premium community, which is accessible on stockertim.com. So let's go there. So this is Stockertim.com. The very, very new, brand new platform for retail investors to get all the news, analysis, coverage of the market. You also get access to the daily brief, which if you are a premium subscriber, you can always log in and get access to the daily brief. And what does the daily brief offers? The daily brief offers you detailed analysis of what goes on in the market, stock picks that actually the Stockertim community have actually picked, due diligence on new stocks, new opportunities. And it doesn't necessarily cost so much to be a member, just about $10 per quarter, and you heard me right, $10 every 3 months, in 4 quarters in a year. And we have other plans as well. We also have the free version as well. So just give it a go. Come to stockertim.com and you'll get access to so many information. We also have a video gallery that actually brings together all the analysis that we've done on Stockertim channel as well. You will have access to even premium videos that are designed for members to actually do more due diligence and know what exactly is going on with key stock picks that are already in your portfolio or you are looking to actually invest in. So that's that. What do you think about about Beta Technologies? Do you actually think Beta has what it takes to match what the likes of Joby is doing? Joby is not yet profitable, but they are clearly the leader in eVTOL. Put your comment in the comment section. Until next time when we see, keep investing, keep growing. Take care and bye-bye.